Hey, what's going on, folks? It is Bart coming at you with another microphone review video. And today we've got in the studio, let's talk about it on a different view. All right, so we've got the Movo VSM-7 in the studio. Movo sent this to me. Thank you, Movo. You Movos. It's a large diaphragm condenser microphone. Pretty girthy. We've got a roll-off switch there. 10 decibel pad. And like all great mics, we've got pattern selection. Omnidirectional, figure 8, and cardioid, which we're going to start out on. And, you know, not a cheap looking capsule sitting back there. We've got some promise in the Movo. The Movo does come with a shock mount with a pop filter that says Movo. M-O-V-O. Movo out of the way. We also have a XLR cable. Not sure where the accent's coming from. It's been a really long week. And there's your total package from Movo. Okay, so I told you a little bit about what we've got in the studio with us. It's the Movo VSM-7, and it was sent to me by Movo. Thank you, Movo. I was running out of condensers to review, and Movo came and saved the day and said, we can't let Bark falter with nothing but dynamics. Let's send him over a microphone. So I got the Movo in the studio with me. You just saw what it was all about. We're on the cardioid polar pattern, and we're ready to throw some tests into this some bitch. All right. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple plosives. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple plosives. That actually did not do terrible without the pop filter, but Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled plosives. Now let's engage the pop filter. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled plosives. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled plosives. You know, I'm going to say, I typically don't care for the built-in pop filters because normally they're on like a metal rod or something like that. But this one is very nicely made. It is attached to the shock mount, which is a higher quality shock mount than like one of these doohickeys. It's not that much different, but it is. It's got a, it's not a squeeze basket. It's a screw basket. It's a basket case. Do you have the time to listen to me rhyme inside this microphone? No doubt about it. I'm just one of those melodramatic fools. I can't lie. The Movo. Anyways, I get myself into these little modes. I almost have Tourette's. So let's go ahead and talk into this cock metal microphone and get right on top of the microphone. This is what it sounds like. Not a ton of enhanced proximity effect. It sounds just about the same. Let's go ahead and throw on the Movo windscreen and see what the off-axis rejection sounds like. Talking directly into the Movo. Now we're at 90 degrees on the Movo, 180 degrees on the Movo, and 90 degrees on the Movo VSM-7. Spin it back around town, as SpongeBob would say, bring it around town. Damn, pandemic's getting to this guy, even though it's not really affecting this area the same. Nobody even wears their masks here. They're like, we're too manly for that. Let's not wear these some bitches. Now, regardless of your opinion on it, I'm not giving you mine. I'm just telling you, around here, they're like, piss on them masks, boy. Southern Ohio, man, that's what it's like. So, first thoughts, initial thoughts of the Movo. It's got a very nice clarity up top. It does sound nice and clear. Definitely a treble boost there. I don't dislike it. I need a little more bottom end. I need a little more bottom end. I need a little more of that low to the ground stuff. That low hanging fruit, the bottom end. Need a little more of that. But other than that, I mean, the sound is not overly harsh. It's not super smooth, but it does sound nice and clear. And I can appreciate nice and clear. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the switches. First off, before I go into other modes as far as polar patterns go, because I don't give a damn about polar patterns for the most part. Not when you're doing podcasts and voice and stuff. But let's go ahead and engage the filter. Out of the box, it came with the low end roll-off on. So there's probably where I'm missing some of my bottom end. But even with that low cut on, it's not bad. The basket is nice and sweet, but I will say it is hard to get to the switches with this thing inside of the shock mount. Let's go to flat mode now. Was not on in the box, so I'm just doing it how it came. All right, now we've got the flat mode on. And I got a little more of that bottom end, but it's not a crazy amount. The clarity's still there, but I kind of feel like it got a little funky in the mids. Not a ton, just a little tiny bit. Let's go ahead and throw our pop filter back on. I've been using it, and I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to use this thing because I can't reach the switches. Because, you know, who doesn't like to switch to polar pattern to omnidirectional or figure eight all the time and just go back and forth? Anyways. Let's go to figure eight. Definitely took a minute to engage there on figure eight. And I feel like it's a little darker, actually. Let's go back down to cardioid. Oh, man, that's a weird transition. No, maybe it does sound about the same. There's figure eight. It has a hesitation before that polar pattern kicks in. Go ahead and spin this microphone around to the side and then around to the back. So now we've got that figure eight polar pattern targeting them Yeti users. You want to sit this in the middle of the room and have a podcast? Let's do it. Yeti users. Okay, so the back sounded a little different than the front. That seems to be the case most of the time when I try out a figure eight polar pattern. Let's go to omnidirectional. That way we have no background noise rejection whatsoever, which is what all podcasters want. That is such a weird little hesitation. Okay, omnidirectional. We're spinning it around and we're still getting, it dims a little bit on the sides, but not a ton. And then we're going around to the back, and then we've got the sound back, but the echo's worse. And then we got the side and back to the front. So there, omnidirectional, bidirectional, you know, green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit? Back to cardioid. And I'm not going to edit the pauses out because honestly, you need to know how long it takes to switch polar patterns on this thing. 10 decibel pad switch. Let's enable that now. I'm talking and 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 I'm talking, and let's disable the negative 10 decibel pad, and we're back. That takes no time at all, but the polar patterns do. So the Movo, I really enjoy this super tall looking thing they got going, even though I don't think it's needed because there's like a solid inch above the capsule and a inch and a half below the capsule, maybe. The grill on this thing, it does have some give to it. Not a lot, though. It looks flimsier than it is. It's actually pretty nice and does a pretty good job. The pop filter, I think the pop filter does an okay job, but I can't really tell because it's not bad with plosives anyways. Peter Piper picked a patch, pickle pineapple pizza. It's just not bad with plosives. It's got a really tight mesh grill, and that could have a lot to do with the fact that it's not terrible with plosives. So let's go ahead and throw some processing on it to see what we got. I don't mind the way it sounds as is. I think this is a really nice broadcast sound, to be honest. It kind of checks all the boxes of a podcast mic for me. Now, if you want to pick this microphone up, it is right at $125. $125. You get the box, you get the shock mount with the pop filter and an XLR cable. And that's that's not a terrible price, especially for a multi-pattern condenser. Now, this microphone is in a pretty competitive price range. There's a lot of solid condenser microphones at $100 and $125. You got the King B. You can get an Audio-Technica AT2020. You can get the Mackie, can't remember what the hell the name of that thing is. You can get the PreSonus PX1. You can get a used Rode NT1 or NT1A at around 150-ish. But, you know, it's a good price point. It does come with a pop filter. It's definitely not a bad option. The only thing I wonder about with this microphone is the noise floor. I thought I could hear it a little bit earlier, but I think that's ambient noise in the studio. Let's go ahead and throw some processing on this. I do want to throw a little more bottom at it because I do need a little bit more of that. Okay, so now I've got compression, de-esser, and a big bottom on it to get a little extra oomph in the low end, and everything still seems fairly decent and smooth. Once I have that compression on and a little bit of processing, which I feel like is it gives you a little more overhead, I feel a little bit more of that room coming in, creeping in just a little bit of that room noise. I think I've decided I need a little bit more soundproofing in here. I need to deaden this room up just a little bit. Now, you may like the airy sound. I don't love the airy room sound, but to each his own. Everybody's a little bit different. So that's what it sounds like with processing enabled. Let's go ahead and turn processing off. All right. We're back to no compression, no de-esser, no big bottom. And this is what it sounds like. And this is one of those rare instances where I think the mic unprocessed is okay. Maybe a little bit better to my ears. A little smoother, a little nicer. But I don't dislike this. A little more bottom end would be nice, but even when you get up on it, you don't get a lot of that anyways. But Movo, thanks for sending me this mic. I've been eyeballing this mic for a while because it is something that I find to be obscure. It's a really tall, condenser mic from a not so known company. They do great things with camera audio, but I didn't know they had a condenser microphone, and I think it sounds okay. I think it's competitive at the $125 price range. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's usable to me. And this is what Obscure Mics is all about. If you're looking for everything in this package and you want it to be usable and you want it to be workable, you want to be able to play around with some EQ, play around with some processing and get a good sound, you can get a good sound out of this. I think it's pretty solid off the right off the bat, but you can definitely tweak it and do better. If you got a treated room, podcasting, yeah, voiceover, maybe. I think you need to do a little more tweaking than normal, but gaming, sure. I think this is a kind of a general purpose all around condenser microphone. And I think it's solid for $125. That being said, that $125 price point is right there in that competitive lane. So I'm not going to go green light all the way on this one. I'm going to give it the yellow because I can't really fault you for wanting it. And I can't really say it's not worth buying because it is a pretty solid mic at that price point. So if you need the polar patterns, you could almost upgrade this to a green light, but I just don't see the use in those polar patterns for me. Maybe if you do more music and you want to set it in the middle of the table and you're going to sit real close to your friend and do a podcast, like you want to be this close face to face, have at it. But polar patterns aren't for me. Movo VSM-7. Thanks for watching. This thing is out of here, and I'll be back soon with another Movo mic, actually. They sent me a couple. The other one is a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but I'm excited to try it out. Thanks for watching. Bark's out. Movo's out. Peace out.